Welcome to Intentionality with Paul Kempf, the podcast and YouTube channel where we explore the possibilities and opportunities that can be created by a more intentional life. If you like what you hear, and I hope you do, please subscribe, please follow us on social media, and share so that we can reach more people and impact more lives. This is episode 24. Now, before we get to today's podcast topic, and our guest that we have for today, very, very special guest, I want to just talk about the previous two episodes that we did briefly, episodes 21 and 22, where I asked for your responses. I asked for your engagement. And I said, if you do that, there will be a little bit of a reward. So I just wanted to quickly mention that we have a few winners. We have a few people that entered the giveaway that I talked about in the previous two episodes, and you will shortly be receiving your Take-A-Lot vouchers. I just want to thank everybody that responded on that request for engagement and that sent us an email or engaged with us on the various channels. Last week as well, I made my TikTok debut. I have never been on TikTok before. I don't really know how TikTok works, but my production team tells me it's something that's important for us. So we have released a few TikTok videos, and I would like to encourage you to go and engage with us on TikTok as well. Now, one of the things that's going to be very different today, it's something new that we're trying, is we are going to be having a guest that's not on the couch with me. We're going to be having a guest that's joining us on Teams. This is an experiment. We hope it works. Let's see how it goes. Something else that's different that I spoke about last week is from today, we're going to shift the focus of this podcast. And we're going to shift it to the FFG Group of Companies, the company that I work for and the company that I'm a shareholder in as well. We'll be taking time in the next few episodes to talk to some of my colleagues in FFG, to just try and find out a little bit more about the amazing people that work for FFG and what they do in FFG. And remember, this goes back to the money part of intentionality with Paul Kempf. Now, remember in the first 10 episodes, we spoke a lot about money, but the focus is going to be very different this time. The focus is more going to be on what it is the team at FFG does on a daily basis to ensure that your intentions around your money can be realized in every aspect of your life. Now, just before I get to our guest, in the next few episodes, I am going to be speaking to some of my colleagues in FFG, but I also want to share some information about FFG in every single episode. So I want to start off today by telling you how the FFG journey started. And this journey at FFG is one that started with one amazing man with a dream and a vision many, many years ago. Now, recently we celebrate 25-year existence of FFG. That was last year in 2023. But this journey actually started even longer before that. It started, I believe, in 1989 in, of all places, Potchefstroom in the northwest province of South Africa. And it is such a privilege today to have that person, the founder of the FFG Group of Companies, as my guest for today's interview. So, it is my privilege and my honor to welcome as my sixth guest on IWPK and my second guest from the FFG Group, my colleague, my friend, the CEO of the FFG Group, Mr. Herman Klopper. Welcome, Herman.
Oh, thank you very much, Paul. I'm really honored to be here, and I must congratulate you with your podcast. I mean, I know you're putting a extremely lot of effort in it, but I assure you, I'm really proud of you. It's a great thing. Thank you, Paul. As usual, you go flat out for everything. thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Herman. Now, here's what's interesting. You live in South Africa, you are based in South Africa, but you are not joining me on the couch because you're somewhere else. You're sitting in Mauritius, and I, for one, know for a fact you're not there for a holiday. So tell us a little bit more about why you find yourself in Mauritius at the moment.
Yeah, well, in actual fact, I should have been on the beach, but you said I was doing an interview with you today. No, a couple of years ago, FFG we decided, it would be prudent to sort of diversify the company a bit. Now, there was 3 reasons why we chose Mauritius and decided to come to Mauritius. Firstly, I think we wanted to diversify our offering to our clients. Secondly, we thought that if we can get an international footprint, it would be great, the location Mauritius, because the proximity to South Africa. And thirdly, obviously, we needed a dollar-based income. So as a group, we decided, to start a business in Mauritius. That was 4 or 5 years ago. We first started with the FFG Mauritius brand, which is a management company. We set up structures for clients in Mauritius. And secondly, we started a new company called FFG Global, which advised clients globally. And thirdly, the latest company we started is FFG Insure, to handle short-term insurance for clients in Africa. So that's why I'm in Mauritius. I don't live here permanently, but I'm here quite often. And it's a very exciting journey. And the intention was really from the beginning to diversify the group and get traction out of an international perspective.
That's great, Herman. I have got a next interview lined up with Michael from FFG Global, where I think we'll focus a little bit more about what it is that FFG does in Mauritius. I want to take the focus a bit back more to you. And just get the listeners on the podcast and the viewers on YouTube to just get to know Herman a little bit better. Am I right in saying this journey started 35 years ago, I think with a company called Klopper & Key? Maybe you can tell us just a little bit more about that, how you got into the financial services industry, what made you decide to walk this journey that you've been walking for the last 35 years?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. I don't know how much time I have, but let's start how I got into this industry. At a very early stage in my life, I knew that the buck must stop with me. I'm the guy that's got to do the job, because my father passed away when I was pretty young. I was 19 years old, and at university I started selling encyclopedias. I made quite a lot of money selling encyclopedias. Yeah. And then eventually I decided, let's finish my studies, and I wanted to become an auditor. So I was busy with my internship at an auditor, Venter & Kennedy in Potchefstroom. And after 6 weeks, I asked the part with Mr. Stan Kennedy, please, I need an increase. Because, I had a bond on a house. I was married. I had a student loan to pay. And he said, my friend, you first have to work here for 6 months. Then I'll give you an increase. So that was a Friday afternoon. And when I sold encyclopedias, I made a bit of money, and I invested in an endowment policy. So I had a bit of a cash flow problem, a serious cash flow problem. So I went to this insurance company, Legal & General, Volkskas. Friday afternoon, 3 o'clock, I pitched up there. I asked the lady that worked there, her name was Susan. I said, please, here's a policy. I need a loan on the policy. She said, yeah, no problem. But here's some forms. You've got to sign some forms. But at the back of the office, the guys were having a huge party. They were having beers, having a braai. So I said, yes, well, this is a nice place to work. She said, yes. I said, what can I do to come and work here? She said, complete this form. So I filled in the form. The Saturday morning, I got an interview with a regional manager of Voted Pretorius. And the Monday, I gave my resignation to Stan Kennedy. So that was in 1986. So I started working as an insurance agent with a company called Legal & General Volkskas. Now, unfortunately, that company's name changed to Life Grip. And in 1988, Life Grow was taken over by Momentum, and my position at that stage was the branch manager in Potch became redundant. So they fired me. And then I started Klopper and Key with Vanessa. Vanessa is still with our company. Yes, Vanessa started, and that was in 1988, 89.
Herman, do you know what's amazing? I've known you for 18 years, and the first time I've heard this story. I'm so glad you shared that. Just sharing it with me, that was absolutely wonderful. Is one other thing I picked up in your story, which I just want to focus on for a second, and that's one clear thing that's similar between the two of us. When you were at university, you sold encyclopedias. When I was at university, I read encyclopedias.
Crazy. Well, that's why you're so clever. I mean, you don't have to know everything about everything, right? Please.
No, that's true. That's true. Herman, you've had a long entrepreneurship journey. You've had a long journey in business. I'm sure along the way you've learned a lot of lessons. Is there a few things that you can maybe share with us, some lessons you've learned that you can share with aspiring entrepreneurs listening to this podcast?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, some of those lessons I've been promoting the last 18 years to you, and you know better than I do. But obviously, if you start a business, to start from zero, it's very difficult. I mean, if there's no business, and to get it going, that's the biggest push. But I think if you've got a good strategy and you've got a good plan and you stick to your plan, then you can get your business going. But obviously, when the business starts going, you must think about a couple of things which I really believe in. Cash flow. If you've got cash flow, then you can do amazing. You can take on risks. You can plan. You can do a lot of things if you've got cash flow. Secondly, out of a business perspective, I mean, there's no question about the words ethical and honesty. That's a given. Have to do that. That's a given. You've got to do it. You've got to stick to the rules. But one of the most important things I really believe that helps us as a group and as a person, we always tend to be fair. I mean, it should be fair, and don't complicate things too much. We tend to complicate matters while it should be pretty simple. And business is challenging, you're quite right. But if you've got a strategic plan and you stick to the plan, I'm pretty positive that you'll get it. But you're ups and downs, and you know what happens? Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. But that's business. Yeah.
Absolutely. I can just say to our listeners, Herman, I do think you've had a few more wins than losses over the last 35 years. And by the way, I'm not sure which one was first and which one was second, but certainly the first two lessons I ever learned from you was cash flow is king. And secondly, every deal we do must be fair for all parties. And that's a philosophy that I think we've been able to really ingrain in the FFG Group of Companies culture. Herman, tell me, what else do you think it is that makes a business thrive in difficult times? What is it that has made FFG so successful over the last 3 decades? And what is it that you think separates us from our competition?
Well, I think from the very beginning, when we started FFG, it was imprinted in my mind, like it was my intention, that it must not be a one-man show. I mean, there's a difference if you've got a company, one person or 2 or 3 people in the company. From the beginning, you said, we're going to build a bigger financial services company. That is our intention right from the start. And the fact that we've got a bouquet of offerings, I think changes us, gives us an upper hand in the financial services. And I'm really, really excited about the fact we can start new ventures which is related to the financial services industry that keeps us abreast of the rest of the pack. And that's what makes FFG really successful. One of the things. The second thing, obviously, we've got amazing people working for us. And as you know, I always believe I'm the scrummer. I'm the guy that sort of got to catch the ball. Sometimes I don't catch it and I kick it out. But I've got a lot of great team players that can catch the ball and run with it and do the work. I don't think I'm the guy that works the hardest in the company, but I can think the most probably strategic wise. But I think that definitely makes us a different company. Our people, and our offering. And due to the fact that 90% plus of our income stream is an annuity-based income, and that is how we built the company. We don't start from scratch every first of each month, and we built an annuity-based income, and our relationship with our clients. We've got some clients. I mean, we had a function on Saturday, Saturday, where one of the clients is now a client at FFG for close to 34 years, which is amazing. So great to have clients like that. And you build relationships over time.
It's wonderful to see that level of loyalty. It does tell you that you must be doing something right, Herman. I am, however, going to disagree with one thing you said. And that's when you said you're not the hardest worker in FFG. We both know that's not the truth. We both know that, Herman, there's a rhythm and a pace to you that very, very few people can match in this company. You and I have very different views of the concept of retirement. We've had some interesting debates about it in the past. I certainly don't see you ever slowing down. It feels to me like you're just going to keep on working at the pace you've been working for the last 10, 20, 30 years. How do you feel at the moment about this concept of retirement? And are you ever going to slow down and enjoy what you have built over so many years?
But Paul, it's all about phases in your life. I mean, I'm at a different phase of my life now. And obviously, we don't have any kids that's in our house anymore, and me and my wife tend to spend more time together. So it's a different phase. But I think the one important thing that you must realize is, okay, let's say I did start the company. I do not want to become part of the founders chat. I don't be one of those guys that keep you guys back. That's not my intention. So I'm busy moving to the next phase of my life, and I will not necessarily retire. There's a concept they call country style living, where you move from first, second, or third gear and just become more relaxed. Where hopefully, if you want to sleep till 7 o'clock in the morning, you can do it, and just do some different things. But I don't think it's correct that you must be in the kitchen if you started a company forever. As you know, I'm not in the kitchen anymore. Other people are doing the work, and I think it's time to pass the baton to the next phase of the company, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. Because there are other interesting stuff that I'm busy with, especially the property field. I love that, and that will keep me busy. Yeah, but semi-retired is not the right word. Country style living, that's the word. Yeah,
love it. Country style living, good one. And I love the idea that you think sleeping until 7 in the morning is sleeping late. That says a lot about you, Herman. Herman, you've achieved an amazing level of success in your life. Any last thoughts before we start closing off this podcast on what you can attribute it to, and what has driven you to be so determined to be successful in your life?
Paul, it's to say I'm successful. I don't know if you can measure that, but I'm actually I'm not lucky, but in a certain way, I'm lucky. Things worked out for me. I worked pretty hard. Some things work, some things don't. And I think out of an FFG perspective, the journey we had in the company was so exciting. It's so nice. It's a wonderful journey. Yeah, but I think last thing that I would say is, you don't have to know, as I mentioned just now, know everything about everything. You don't have to be a specialist on every single field. You must just know anything of something. Then you are on the right track. And if you use your common sense and logic, there's so many opportunities. The last 2 years, I have to start learning the word no. Because I must tell you, there is so many opportunities we get as a company. We have to start using the word no much more.
Love it. Thanks for that, Herman. The title of this podcast, or the name of this podcast, is Intentionality with Paul Kempf. Is there maybe a last thought of anything you do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis intentionally in your life that contributes to the success you've had in life?
Yeah, I think it's my ritual in the morning. I mean, I get up fairly early.
Yes,
fairly early, more or less 5 o'clock. And I read my newspapers. I do a lot of reading. And then I go through every single bank account we have. And that's a lot, because I believe it's the easiest way to do a lipstick test on any company when it comes to cash flow. It's the easiest way to know what's happening in a company. And then I've got old school diary, a diary where I make a list of things that I'd like to do that day, that particular day. And our old school, I've got a red pen. So if I've done something, I tick it off in my diary. And I will not stop the day unless all the boxes have been ticked. And if that particular box cannot be ticked that day, I will write it in the next day. That I do on a daily basis. On a monthly basis, I do a planning for the month. I plan, obviously, what am I going to do this month? I think it's so important to plan, not just your day, but your week and your month. You obviously must know where you're going and how you're going to get it. And that helps me tremendous. Obviously, the third thing is I do a yearly plan. Presently, I live between Potch, George, Paul, and Mauritius. So that's a bit of a, you struggle to get the rhythm. I mean, we're going to be here in Mauritius now for 4 or 5 weeks. I arrived here Monday, so I'm just going to get into the rhythm. Then we're going to move on back to Paul, whatever. But it's important to plan. I think if you plan correctly, and you must have the right partner. I've got a stunning wife. She mustn't hear that. I've got a great wife, and she assists me. If you've got a good relationship with your wife, it's a good starting point. Though.
Wow, Herman, that's such valuable advice that you're giving to the listeners and to the viewers. I really, really appreciate it. I'm almost hesitant to ask because I think for me that was the tip of the week. But I always end off my episodes with a tip of the week, something that I share with the listeners that I think could be valuable for them. Any last tip of the week that you want to share?
Paul, you know where growth starts. Growth starts when you do stuff that you are not qualified to do. What I mean by that is, if somebody asks you to do something and you don't know anything about it, you learn to do that very quickly. So that's where growth starts. If you're unqualified to do it, growth starts there. And I think out of a financial FFG point of view, we've started so many projects where we're not necessarily specialists in that specific field. And with time, we just pick it up. And that's how the company grows. That would be my tip.
Herman, thank you so much. I really appreciate you agreeing to join me on the podcast. This was truly an insightful interview. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Looking forward to getting you back in South Africa and seeing you again. Good luck on all your travels. I will make sure that Riette gets this podcast and listens to it. But really, Herman, thank you so much for your valuable time today.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, and I'm so happy you didn't ask me difficult questions, because if you asked me a difficult question, I would have just passed the baton back to you. That I'm an expert in that. So, thank you, Paul. Thank you
Thanks,
for having
Herman.
me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right, all that's left for us for today is just to quickly thank the production team for all their hard work behind the scenes. As always, remember, if you want to get hold of me, if you have any questions for me, if you want to be a guest on the couch, send me an email to paul@iwpk.co.za. I want you to congratulate yourself on making the choice to live a more intentional life, to be the architect of your life and of your success. And may the rest of your week be an amazing intentional journey.